Ok, clase, para ese video vamos a hablar sobre los verbos saber y conocer. So we're going to talk about the verbs saber and conocer. And they both mean to know. So just like we talked about the verbs ser and estar, both meaning to be, they had their differences and you can only use one at sometimes and the other at other point in times. It's the same with these two verbs. You have to know, haha, see what I did there? When to use each one. So here's a chart. I'm going to start off with this chart and I'm going to end with this chart just to show you when we use conocer in a chart form and when we use saber. So conocer we use when we're referring to knowing a person, like we personally know them. To be familiar with a place or a general object. We use saber to refer to when we know facts or we know how to do something. Okay? So sometimes it's not who you know, conocer, but what you know, saber. That counts. Haha. Isn't that cute? All right, so let's talk about how to conjugate the verb saber. Okay? Here are the conjugations of saber in the present tense. Say, which means I know. Sabes, you know. Sabe, he or she knows. Sabemos, we know. And saben, they know. And again, the verb saber, if you notice, it's irregular in the yo form. It's an ER verb and it takes ER endings, S, A, amos, N. Just notice in the yo form it's a little different. Say, sabes, sabe, sabemos, saben. Now we've already been introduced to a form that looks similar to this, but it's without the accent mark. And remember, that's a reflexive pronoun. So with the accent mark, it means I know. Okay? So let's look at the first portion of what saber entails. So if you remember from the chart that I just showed you, saber we use to refer to knowing a fact or to know data, right? So look at the following sentence. Sabemos que Rodolfo y Luisa son estudiantes. We know that Rodolfo and Louise are students. That's just a fact. We know that. Okay? Look at this one. ¿Sabes los días de la semana? Do you know the days of the week? Again, I'm asking a question in order to know data, right? Yo sé el número de teléfono de Consuelo. So I know the telephone number of Consuelo. So again, all three of these questions, or sorry, statements or questions refer to knowing a fact or knowing data. Another way we can use saber is to refer to how to do something. So to form this, we would use saber plus the infinitive form of a verb in order to say how to know how to do something. So look at the first sentence. Yo sé esquiar. I know how to ski. How is implied. You don't need a word for how, it's implied. Yo sé esquiar. I know how to ski. ¿Sabes cocinar? Do you know how to cook? Los niños no saben nadar. The children don't know how to swim. And if you look at this picture, the lady says, they know how to dance very well. Ha. Note again, conocer is never followed by an infinitive. So anytime you see the verb saber and then an infinitive, you know that it's a how-to statement. Okay? Also, just a quick note, saber is often followed by a question word. Conocer is never followed by a question word. So for example, sabemos quién es Plácido Domingo. So we know who Plácido Domingo is. We may not personally know him, but we know who he is. ¿Sabes dónde está la oficina de correos? Do you know where the office, the electronic office, or the email is? No sé cuándo sale el tren para Tegucigalpa. I don't know when the train leaves for Tegucigalpa. Okay. Also, something that was not mentioned on the chart that you need to write down, saber is also used when we know something from memory, or de memoria. So for example, Abuela Marta sabe el himno nacional mexicano. So grandmother Marta knows the Mexican national hymn. So it's something that she recalls, she remembers. Okay, now let's talk about conocer. First, we need to know how to conjugate it in the present tense. And it will be conozco, conoces, conoce, conocemos, and conocen. I know, you know, he or she knows, we know, and they know. And again, note, just like saber, conocer is irregular too in the yo form. It's got a Z. Okay? And just like the chart mentioned, conocer is used when we are referring to knowing a person or we're acquainted with them or a thing as well. So it's like we've personally met them or know them. So if you look at this, she's asking, Maria, conoces a Pablo, verdad? You've met Pablo, right? You know him? All right, so notice the contrast between saber and conocer in the following sentences. Yo sé quién es Plácido Domingo, pero no conozco al señor Domingo personalmente. So I know who Plácido Domingo is, but I don't know him personally, right? So I know who he is. We're going to use saber there, but I don't personally know him. Conozco. Sabemos dónde está Tegucigalpa, pero no conocemos la ciudad. So we know where Tegucigalpa is. I've taught y'all that. It's in Honduras, but we aren't familiar with the city. We don't personally know it. So we're going to use sabemos because we know where it is. It's a fact. It's a piece of information. But we don't know the city. Like, we're not familiar with it. Julia sabe que Rigoberta Menchú recibió el premio Nobel, pero no conoce sus obras. So Julia knows that Menchú received the Nobel Prize, but she isn't acquainted with her works. So she knows of this person, but does not personally know the works. Okay? And again, as I started with, I'm going to, here's the, or just reintroduce the chart to you, keeping in mind that one of them is missing off of saber, which is to recall something from memory. Okay, now let's have some práctica. Yo blank a Maddie. So would you use a form of conocer or a form of saber here if you're referring to I met Maddie or I personally know Maddie? Number two blank donde está el mercado, and I'm sorry, this should have an accent here and here, sorry about that, and there. Ooh, man, my accents are not on point today. So you blank where, or you know where the market is. Piece of information. 3. Ella blank jugar baloncesto. Again, we have an infinitive here. There's only one option. Nosotros blank a toda la familia de Reagan. We personally know all of Reagan's family. We've met them. And ellos blank tocar el piano. Again, infinitive here. You only have one option. Pause the video. And here are the answers. Yo conozco a Mari. I know her. Personally know her. Tú sabes dónde está el mercado. You know where the market is. That's a piece of information. Ella sabe jugar baloncesto. She knows how to play basketball. How-to statement. Nosotros conocemos a toda la familia de Reagan. We know all of Reagan's family. Ellos saben tocar el piano. They know how to play the piano. Okay, and that is it para este video. Entonces, adiós y chao.